Let me know where you send a wave, where you are in the world, if you're training, how your training is going, and if you have any questions. So on the lives, we just chat about everything. We chat about yoga for BJJ stuff. We talk about training, and I usually help people out with some stretches that'll help the training and all that jazz. So let me know how it's going. How's the training going? Good, bad, frustrating? Usually good. We all do it because we love a challenge. So that's how she goes. All right, I think I'm all set up now. I pretend to be technical and set up all this stuff. And you know what? I think it's working for me, more or less. Okay. So I'm waiting for some questions to come through from everybody. It's my joke. I interrupt myself and just ask questions, answer the questions as I move through this. But I do have something really cool to talk about. You guys like how I'm doing my forearm stretch while I'm talking? You should try it, even just when you're on the mats. Instead of having your fingers facing forward, you can turn the fingertips to face back, and that'll stretch the forearms, which is a really nice counterbalance to when we're always grabbing with the gi, or if you're grabbing no gi behind the head and the wrists. We're constantly flexing, so it's really nice to counter that by stretching the forearms. So that's kind of my tip of the day. You know how, especially the keeners, someone's teaching a technique and the keeners are really close looking like this. Yeah, that'd be me. There's a really funny story when we went to train with Roger Gracie in London. I was there for the London Open 2019, and I didn't even realize that he was teaching advanced class. It was just the most phenomenal techniques. And I was like, man, I wanted to see it because I paid to go from Canada all the way to London. So I'm sitting there and I'm really close to him, and I didn't realize how close I was till my friend that I went with was making fun of me. He's like, you were sitting so close to him. And I'm like, I was the keener, I'll admit it. But my jiu-jitsu did really well in the tournament, so it was worth it. No one can blame me. Roger Gracie's teaching you, everyone would be that close to. I think so. Okay. Some announcement, well, not even announcement, some stuff I'm really excited about now that everyone's doing the forearm stretch that I'm really excited about coming up is our Yoga for BJJ instructors course in April. I know, send the hearts in. I'm really excited about it. And this is really almost for, I want to say almost for anybody, but you don't have to have a ton of yoga experience to join in. And it helps instructing not just yoga, but also it helps people that are already teaching jiu-jitsu better, because we move into a lot of how to teach and a lot of practice teaching and a lot of fun stuff around that. So it is on Zoom, but it's not the usual Zooms that people do, where I'm sitting there and doing my course online and pretending not to be asleep, or I turn off the camera and say it's not working, and I'm taking a little nap. No, this course is really, really interactive with a lot of really great discussions and even challenges in the course. So there's a lot of moving in the course because we're athletes, and that's what we do. We move. So the course, you learn how to teach warm-ups, full classes, and cool downs. And it's just amazing. So you don't need a ton of yoga experience to teach it. We take care of that. I send you, I'm always like, oh, I'll send the homework. It's a lot of fun. It is really great, but it is a lot of yoga homework. You'll be doing yoga every day. And for some people, it's the push, right? It's the push that they need to keep moving forward in their yoga practice. And there's also, when is the teacher course? It's in April. So the last 2 weekends of April, and then it goes the last day is May 1st. So last 2 weekends of April. And the time, where are you? Where are you in the world? So the time is, for me, I'm PST, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can just Google it, what time is it, and, where you are for that time zone. But it's four 4-hour classes, so 2 weekends. And yeah, you don't need a lot of yoga experience. I'll send you everything that you need to do. And now is a good time to start, because I'm not going to lie, there is a fair bit of homework, because we like you to get your value out of the course. And I send monthly emails to keep everybody on track. But then the next thing is, the reason why I say it's not for everybody is because it's for people that are like motivated, that are willing to learn, that are willing to work. And I've had people, or a day before the course, have been like, I didn't do my homework. And I'm like, bro, you can't actually keep up with the course if you didn't do your homework. So, but it's great homework. It's really great stuff. And then the curriculum is just packed. So you have lifetime access to that, which is really nice because I've been in some of my teacher trainings. I only get 6 months, and it's like a year later, I'd like to refer back to refresh my memory, and it's gone. And I'm like, man, I wish I had that. So with this one, you have lifetime access to this course, and we are always adding stuff to it, to the curriculum, to update it. And the curriculum's broken down really, really nicely. And so you have lifetime access to that. And I call them like bulletproof sequences. That's what I call it, where they're really beneficial, really good to teach. And people that don't know a ton of yoga, like the instructors, will give you your homework, and you'll be able to teach these sequences, and they'll be effective and safe for students. And the reason why that's important is you never want to start a yoga class with a back bend when the back isn't warmed up. It's just going to feel terrible. But if you move through an hour class, you do back bend at the end, it's going to feel great. So it's really, really cool how that's set up. All right, so our next bonus stretch when you are in your jiu-jitsu class is to take your belt and stretch it above your head. Stretch it above your head and behind, because it moves the shoulders to the whole range of motion, which feels really, really nice. And even when you're at the top, you can do side stretches. And it's really important to be doing this because that's how the muscles are, that's how it's meant to move. The arms are meant to move, the muscles are meant to move, the joints. Really important to do that. I'm giving you little tips. We got a forearm stretch, we got a shoulder stretch. Okay, if you guys have more questions, make sure to send them in. That's why I'm jumping on live to hang out with you for a bit today. So anything regarding, hey, this is tight, or will this help my guard? Let me know where you are in the world and if you're training and how your training's going. We have a pretty cool community throughout the entire world. So I've been looking at the importance of warming up properly, and it was actually through my personal trainer. I do kettlebells as cross training for jiu-jitsu, and it's been really great, especially during the lockdown, because a lot of the gyms have been closed for almost 2 years, but it didn't make a difference to me because I've got my kettlebells, and it's not that they're better than anything else, than weights or different types of workouts. It's just that they're efficient. I can do a lot with one thing. And I was talking to my personal trainer about the warm-up. And when I always go in the warm-up, I'm like, okay, I want to lift my weights right away. I want to get into it. I want to do this. And we were talking about it. And the warm-up is important, and not even to go to the heaviest weight that I can, but get up to the work weight to get the nervous system kind of primed up. And it's not that different from jiu-jitsu, because we've gone from our day, whatever it is, maybe come from work, maybe come from a day off on the couch, maybe it's a morning jiu-jitsu class and you woke up, made a coffee and headed to the gym. And I know you made a coffee because all my friends drink coffee. And so it's important to get that nervous system primed up and get everything moving, because that helps let the body know that there's a training session coming up and for it to get more out of the training session. And so in kettles, we'll even start with really light weights. And same in how do you prep yourself for a jiu-jitsu class? Start with movements that prepare your body. And that will also create more blood flow, lubricate the joints. But for me, I think it's really cool. The most important things is getting the nervous system ready to train. So that's what the warm-up does. It's not meant to shift gears and to think of the warm-up differently. Like the warm-up is meant to prepare the body for a really good training session. So it's not meant for me to lift my heaviest weights and get my strength right away. It's not meant in jiu-jitsu for me to jump into my wrestles and do a phenomenal wrestle right off the start. It's meant to prepare the body for a better training session. So by jumping in and by going like full force, the body won't be ready for it and I'll actually get less out of it. But by preparing properly, then I get way more of the training session. So it's really, really interesting. And even in the yoga for BJJ warm-up, it starts with really slow movements, which is so nice because I'm usually coming from being completely cold. And now that I've hit the ripe old age of 30, everyone makes fun of me when I say that, but it's true. Now that I hit the ripe old age of 30, I'm just like, man, I need to warm the body up because I want to do jiu-jitsu till I'm 70, and it's very possible. Okay, I have a question. What wrestling warm-up do you do other than pulling guard? Well, you know what? We'll do grip fighting. So to warm up, we'll do, because, you know, pulling guard, it is very effective. And if you are a guard puller, when you get to the higher belts, you need to hide the guard pulling with grip, with pretending to do a throw, which is, you know, set up with grip fighting. So I do mostly gi jiu-jitsu because I love gi, but then you can also, there'll also be no gi, right? Where you can grab the wrist and stuff like that. Oh, that was a joke. You know what? I never even know in here because I take everyone so seriously. But it is a funny joke because, to be honest, I get ripped into so hard because I pulled guard all the way up to, actually, you know what? All the way up to black belt. And a lot of people ripped into me, but I won Masters Worlds twice and Pan Am 7 times. So everyone ripped into me, but I'm like, it worked. But when you start hitting the higher belts, yeah, you gotta hide. You gotta hide the guard pulls and learn a few throws to complement it because they figure you out after about 12 years, you know. But it is funny. I get memes all the time about how lame guard pulling is. I'm like, I know it is, but it works. But as long as you're always learning and adding stuff and moving forward, then it's okay, I think. But yeah. Thanks for the joke. Isn't it hilarious? I take everybody seriously in here. I'm like, are they joking? Are they not? I don't know anymore. 2022, I don't know. Oh, that's great. But even before I move into the grip pulling and stuff like that, I'm old. So I'm old. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not old, but I got to warm up properly. Do you know what? Wrestling is absolutely phenomenal. Actually was starting to train before lockdown, and we're going to get back at it with one of my friends, and he's an exceptional wrestler. Actually, 2 of them. They're exceptional wrestlers. They're higher belts. Yeah, they're both purples, due for their browns soon, but phenomenal wrestlers. And what I really like is just it's not simple, but it is. Like almost, you know, something's not simple, but it is. But looking at where they're based, what's going on, and being able to manipulate that and to move that in a simple way, even on the knees. And I really, really like that. So yeah, like judo is an absolutely beautiful sport. I love wrestling. I love the wrestling too, because it works. It works so well. So I totally agree with you. I love the wrestling. And that's what I'm working. Well, there's always so much to learn, right? Where do you start? You could do 5 years of wrestling and be like, yeah, I'm still learning this. So, yeah. I know. Wrestling is so hard on the body, which is the part that I don't like. My buddies, their wrestling warm-ups are just incredible. It's incredibly hard on the body. Yeah, it's really effective, but really hard on the body. So we could say, you know, after we beat ourselves up on the mats wrestling, it's so fun, but it is hard on the body. Can do some yoga for BJJ stretches after, some type of stretches, you know, some crying on the way home, make it home, and just do some and the reason why the stretches help is when like something that's really hard on the body, stuff starts to tense up, you know, when you're going to the fetal position, hiding in the tears when I'm at home. The stretches help to open everything up. Actually, if I were to share with you one of my favorite ones, oh, I love it, because constantly, I'm always forward, right? In the gi, even in no gi, in the wrestling, like you're forward. So that makes the pecs in front of the shoulders get really tight. So this one's actually super, super nice. You know what? I'm good. If you have like a 2-pound weight, I've got my wood yoga blocks. But if you have even just a really small weight, it's super nice too. But you go on the ground And again, oh, those legs are always bent during wrestling, so grab any type of belt or even a towel, anything to make your legs longer to loop around the foot. That's really nice to start just for the hamstring. Then, do you like how the block's right in front of my face? Then the next one is I put my opposite foot on the ground because it's just really nice to lower back. So do this for 1, 2, 3 minutes, and it's really nice, especially after class, because it allows the back just to rest on the ground for a few minutes, and it's super nice. So go one, obviously do the other side. Then the next stretch is the outside of the hips, because that's what stabilizes the legs, like really keeping them in a stable position that keeps the knees from flopping out like a baby giraffe. The next one that's really nice, you can have your head on your block or not, but the next one is here, just grabbing in between the thighs behind the leg. That stretches the outer hip, which is really nice. And the next one, which is just my game changer, is post both feet on the ground, lift the hips, shift the hips to the right, so they're off-centered to the right, and this is where your block comes in. Lift the knees, lower them to the left. Then I like to have a little weight. You don't have to have it, but it's really nice. Put the elbow a little bit higher than the shoulder, and then lower, like your hand should actually not be touching the ground. Ugh. I need to do this so I'm still on Instagram. This shouldn't be touching the ground, right? They might, like nowadays, because I've been doing this stretch a lot, but if the legs are to the left, arms are to the right, having a really light weight is really nice because you can really feel it stretch through that shoulder and through the pecs. Oh man, it's nice. And the arm can be straight. It's more intense to have a cactus arm with elbow a tiny bit above the shoulders. You'll find that's really, really nice. And the last one to do is try to grab your elbows and just let the hands rest above the head. So that's super nice to do after training. Oh man, I love that. What's your favorite neck stretch? Oh, I know. Yeah, I get sore all the time. I get sore from all the collar ties. I only do no-gi jiu-jitsu, yeah. I'm just reading out your question because if you're asking it, I know a bunch more people are asking it too. So some of my favorite neck stretches are, take a seat however you like, and a really simple one to start is take your favorite hand, just loop it behind you around. You see I've got my opposite elbow, and if the hands aren't long enough because of body proportions or flexibility, you can take a belt or a towel. You have no-gi, so you'll have a towel and loop it around just to make your hand longer. Then sit up straight and lean my head towards the left. And so what my hand is doing around the elbow is kind of just pulling the right shoulder down a little more. Then my left ear is going towards the left shoulder. That's a really nice stretch. So you can do this one for a while. You can change other one for a while. And then you know what? Just the old-fashioned rolling the chin forward and to the side is really nice. And I'm sure you guys do this in your wrestling. I'm sure that you do your neck warm-ups too, but this is really nice to do after. Now this is going to be crazy. Get a wood block. However you find one, it's really nice. And this can, you know what you are. No, it doesn't have to be a wood one, but you're going to need it. But if you put, this is more fascial release, and fascia is our connective tissue. See, I've got this, I'm on the lowest setting. You can do this with any block. And I've got this ridge right here. I'm going to put this on my neck where my skull meets the neck. So the very top of it. So just like a pillow. So actually, you know what? Sorry, on the higher setting. There we go. On the highest setting, you want to have the ridge where the skull meets the neck, and you won't feel a lot at first, but then start moving all the way to the right. And as you move to the right, you will feel, I'm about halfway, and when I'm halfway, I can feel kind of a ropey thing. That is what needs to be released, and it's really nice. You can either stay still on that ropey thing you found, or you can gently kind of move left and right on it, and that's really, really nice. And you're done with that, do that on the left side a little bit. So that will really release a lot of tension in the neck. And what that is, those are the muscles that are keeping your neck upright. And they'll get really tight. And this is nice for people that work on the computer a lot. So this will also release those muscles. And so one more time, high setting on the block. And I've put the corner of the block where the bottom of my skull meets my neck. You won't feel anything at first. When you start to move to the right, you'll feel a bit of a ropey, and that's where you want to hang out for a while. That'll be really nice to release the neck too, so a bit of fascia release. I'm glad you like that neck stretch. And you know what? Try this one. I don't know if you have a block or if you can find one. Just keep in the back of your head. And then if you can't remember what it is, just email us in and then I'll send it to you. And I'm actually working on we're going to be working on a whole fascia release program, which is incredible. But not say much about that because it's in the making right now. It's pretty exciting. Do you go home and shower or do you shower in the gym? That's another really great question. If the gym has a shower, I shower there. And the reason is after training, all the pores and everything are still open. So it's really nice because you're sweating, or you should be sweating if it's a good workout or sweating a bit. So it's really nice to shower at the gym, to get everything cleaned out and everything clean. And I think it's part of cleanliness too. Like the faster you shower after training, the less chance there is for any type of bacterial infections. Like majority of gyms are really nice and clean, but still, like it's just the worst to get some type of staph infection or something like that. So shower as soon as you can after training and wash all your gear after every training session. And for all my jiu-jitsu friends, if they say it's bad luck to wash your belt, you'd wash your socks. Please still wash your belts. And besides, it looks really cool to have a worn out belt. When you hang them all on the wall, you get to black, you hang them on the wall, they all look faded. I think I had my purple belt for so long. I think I have 3 of them. So I picked my favorite one to hang up. Yeah, so that's what I have for everybody today. And if you see this later on or whatever, even for everyone online right now, I do have a link. Yeah, I know, good thing you do no-gi. You do want to make sure in your no-gi though, especially because it's no-gi, definitely take that shower as soon as you can after training. I had when I started training, 2005, I didn't understand all that, and I came from like a gym that didn't do a very good job. So I got a staph infection. It's okay, guys. It was 18 years ago. It's gone now. And it took a long time to get rid of. It was really hard to get rid of. So, and that was no-gi, but that was also the gym didn't understand the cleanliness. So you want to make sure, yeah, as soon as you can after training. I haven't had one since. Always shower, wash all your gear, smell pretty. Look as pretty as you can. Usually helps with the smelling pretty. All right. Okay, everyone. So that's what I have for today. And if you look in for Instagram and YouTube, no, for YouTube and Facebook, and if you're on Instagram, you can message us. I have a free link to our Yoga for BJJ Instructors course to give you an idea of what it's about. And it's really cool. So you can jump in that link. And I also have some other really cool bonus stuff in there, like some mistakes that beginners usually do in stretching. Don't make those mistakes. And what a good warm-up should do for you and stuff like that. So yeah, so some really cool stuff in there. And as always, if you have any questions, shoot us a DM. I am not going anywhere. Okay, super fun to chat with everybody, and I will see you next time. Now let me see.